Hey everybody, welcome to episode 7 of Behind the Horror with Brown Mint Horror. We are here with our guest, Amy Manzi, with the awesome horror flick Hacksaw, coming at to you for courtesy of our great friend over at Samera Entertainment, Miss Shari Flaherty, and the good folks over at Midnight Releasing. So, kudos to all of you over there. Continue doing what you're doing. You're giving us a great platform of people to talk to and great flicks to check out. Amy, how are you tonight?
I'm doing wonderful. Thank you for having me. I appreciate it.
Thank you so much. So, one lonely panelist tonight on our show. RL and I are super excited. We love the flick. We've been talking about it all day, going back and forth on certain parts, and how, you know, it kind of reminds us of other flicks and other kind of stuff. So, if you would give our listeners and viewers just who is Amy Manzi? Who are you, if people don't know?
My stage name is Amy Cay, and I'm actually originally from, there's my dog, originally from Colorado, and now just residing in Southern California, work from home. I'm a dog and cat mom, and just
Southern California. Gorgeous.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Sunshine State.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Well, good deal. Well, so I mean, you know, it's funny that JC says, you know, we have been talking about, we've literally watched this movie probably about, I don't know, I've seen it like 5 times now since we got the screener from Shari. And I think one of the things that stood out to me the most, JC, about this one was, like, typically with independent horror films, you see a cast of, I guess you should say you see a group of 25, 35, 45 people working on a film. Right?
Yeah.
And so they put all their money, of what money they do have, into the cast. And then, you know, unfortunately, with the way budgets work on films, it's either, you know, you have enough money to pay high for the cast and you have enough money to pay high for the movie and you get big things, right? Or you spend a lot of money on cast and you have to be more productive with your scenes as far as what the story is. I think what I liked about this movie, probably the most for me, is if you go under IMDb and you go under Hacksaw, there are 5 characters in this movie, and they spared 0 expense on the blood, the gore, the scenes. Like, this thing was like old school slasher, like from the jump.
Yeah, it had like a Texas Chainsaw, Devil's Rejects, Grindhouse, real low budget,
all over the place. But it's what I like. I like, you know me, and I'm Texas Chainsaw Massacre guy through and through. So like, this film was like, dude, like, I mean, the opening credits to, I mean, like, had to, like, my daughter's 19, she's in college, she probably listen to this and be like, I can't believe you said this, but like, we get about 45 seconds into the first credits, and I'm like, this might be just a film I need to watch on my own. Like, I can't.
It's you know.
But I love it though, because like I said, I mean, I love the fact that there was only, you know, 5 or 6 people in the film, you know, and we put all of our, you know, eggs in this basket with the gore and the scenes and the storyline and all that. I mean, I was just blown away. That part stood out the most to me. I'm sitting here thinking in my head, like, man, this opening scene, there's going to be a ton of people in this thing. Like, it's going to get crazy. And then because like, I'm watching the movie and I'm like, I've seen like 4 people, literally. Like, there might have been a guy, but I don't remember. But I pull it up and there's 5 names. And I'm like, this is fantastic. It's just really, really good, dramatic, gory horror film. I loved it. I thought it was great. Like I said, I've seen it like 5 or 6 times now. Yeah.
point.
You could say that. It's very to the point.
So, Amy, how did you get involved with this flick?
So I actually used to work with Anthony at a mortgage company, and this was, gosh, what, 5, 6 years ago. And we ended up just started chatting, through work, and that, we both love horror. And he was telling, yeah, I'm actually writing scripts. I've been writing scripts for a long time, but there's a movie that I really want to, start working on. And I was like, well, that's really cool. Good for you. And I was just joking with him. I was like, oh, you should totally put me in your movie as a dumb blonde that dies. Like, I mean, come on, you're typical horror, right? And he was like, well, actually, I could use you. And I was like, oh, I was just kidding. I'd never acted before, ever. And it was just this total joke. And I'd actually moved out of state and then came back to California. And then when I came back, he was like, so you're ready to work on this project with me? And I was like, oh my gosh, you're serious right now? And he was like, yeah, no, it's I want you in it. I said, but I've never been in a movie. I've never acted. And he's like, that's okay, because I can coach you better that way, because you don't have your own way of doing things. And he's like, and I think it'll work out really well. And it did, I think, for a first time movie, so I mean, I learned a lot, gained a lot, and but it was awesome. It's just really cool. So.
Well, it's very rare that, and this is from talking to folks, this is kind of how the way the movie business works and the film industry and things like that. But you have starred in a independent horror flick as a first-time actress, due to a connection, which is how everybody gets going.
Right.
But through that connection, you're going to be in another film that's going to be coming out with, some Scream Queen royalty in as Felissa Rose from Sleepaway Camp.
Right.
Which is killer. I mean,
yeah.
Your second film, you're going to be heavily into the genre at this point.
Yeah.
And we're so excited. We can't wait to check that one out.
Yeah, you're gonna love it. It's good. Yeah.
Can you give us, without giving away a bunch of stuff, can you tell us a little bit about what it's about, what we could expect?
I don't know if Anthony's going to let me. I don't think I can disclose that information. I know it's something he's finishing up, so I'm not going to step on any toes.
Don't do it
for him. I'm sorry. I should have asked if you guys were asking about that. So
it's all good.
Okay, but I know you're gonna love it. It's definitely it still has the horror, still has the guts, but it has a humor twist to it, and I know you guys are gonna love it.
We'll take it. Absolutely.
Story. It's funny, but yeah, it's great. So you're gonna love it.
So before we get into kind of the nuts and bolts, so to speak, of Hacksaw.
Yeah.
Hey, nuts and bolts, Hacksaw. RL's like, shut up. Okay, so we're gonna do a little bit of a horror trivia round. It's interesting that we're only doing it with one person. So we're just going
to... Hey, JC, I think we need to give something away, okay? We never give anything away. We always give them like the bragging rights and all that not so fun jazz. But here's what we got. Look, here's what we should do. We just opened up our sort of e-store, so to speak, as far as we're going to be putting out some new shirts, some new stuff like that for Brown Mint Horror. He's got one on right now. I've got the Friends shirt on.
Love it.
So here's what we're going to do. What we'll do is if you can get 2 out of the 3 questions correct, we'll send you a little care package, as long as maybe you rock the shirt in your next little gimmick. All right.
Or an Instagram post or something like that.
Yep. Just an Instagram post with us on there, but we'll send it to you. Just gotta get 2 out of 3, I think, or maybe we'll just do 1 out of 3. We'll keep it simple. We like giving away stuff. We never give away anything.
We're still doing the 3 questions. I want to test her. Okay.
All right, JC, go ahead.
All right, here we go. So, I'm looking at my collection because. Okay, I got one. I got one for you.
Cards tonight. The cards are hard.
Yeah, I don't like doing the cards though. I don't like doing the cards.
Hard.
Let's do all right. Since this was our heroine from Hacksaw, here we go. What is the name of the final girl in A Nightmare on Elm Street?
Oh, don't let me down on this one, Amy.
Don't let me down.
Okay, don't kill me. But like, I like Nightmare on Elm Street, but I wasn't like into it. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, it's good, but I just never. I know.
This is really starting to hurt my soul.
I'm sorry, you guys. I it's just. I like Texas Chainsaw, like gore, like that.
Okay.
Like,
all right, go ahead, Jesse. Give her the answer. Give her the answer.
I'm sorry. I'm already losing this bad.
All right. So for all the followers that we just lost because of Amy's non-descriptive answer, the correct
it was
answer
a girl who lived on Elm Street.
Nancy Thompson.
Nancy.
Okay. So here we go. Let's do this.
I'm done. I know. Sorry.
What?
No, look. I got one for you. That should be relatively easy. Okay. So I want you to think back to a year of. Well, me and JC, we were discussing this the other day. We watched Wrong Turn, and we were talking about how Miss Dushku and Jessica Biel wore matching outfits in movies that were released in the same year.
Mm-hmm.
Can you name two of the garments that they wore in Wrong Turn and the Texas Chainsaw Massacre remake?
Yeah, she wore like almost like bell-bottom type jeans. Kind of, they were tighter jeans with a belt, and then she had a tank top. Very similar to actually kind of what I wore in Hacksaw, just different jeans.
There it is.
Okay, one correct answer. Okay, we're just one more away from a little bit of a care package, and we'll never have to work again.
Amy's wearing a white tank top right now, so it's, I mean, come on, it's
trying to get in character. Got it. Okay,
I'll throw a little softball out there.
All right, I'm gonna go. Yes. Okay.
All right.
We'll see how true of a horror fan you are.
No.
Whose mom is in the 1960 classic Psycho?
Oh, you got this. You have this.
I don't actually.
They also shared a scene together in Halloween H2O.
I feel like I can see a face, but I don't know the name, and that's not going to get.
I mean, the daughter is in quite a few of the Halloween movies. Just saying.
Yeah, Jamie Lee Curtis. Is that who you're in referencing?
That is the daughter.
That's the daughter, but the mom. Oh, mother of God. I suck. I'm sorry. I don't know.
It's okay.
The actor's name or the real, like her real name, or either.
Just her real name. What's her name?
Because we're pitying you.
What's her name, Amy?
I don't know. That girl, Barbara. I don't.
Okay, it was Janet Leigh. Okay, I'm gonna go super softball here for the last one for you to win. Okay.
Okay, I got one more. Okay.
Yeah, one more bonus round. Here we go. Axel's he's got you going. Okay.
Yeah.
So, who was the first woman killed in the Scream franchise?
You're killing me. All these older ones that I don't.
Did she say older?
1996. You were 4 years old.
Jennifer Love
What?
Hewitt.
Who was the first one to die?
Was it Jennifer Love Hewitt?
No.
Oh.
But you're in that ballpark.
She didn't die, and I know what she did last summer, but
she dated.
Good call out.
She dated Tom Green. Was it Charlie's Angel?
Drew Barrymore? No.
You're Drew Barrymore.
Yeah.
Drew Barrymore. Dun, dun, dun.
Prenuptial agreements.
Yes.
Okay.
Oh my God.
I need to refresh. Okay, I'm sorry. I like.
All right.
So-
We're gonna send you the care package anyway.
We're
It
gonna
might
send you the care
include a
package.
couple of movies that you need to watch.
Clearly.
Speaking of watching films, I see your TV back there, and looks like there's a stack of films back there.
Yes.
What do you got back there? The Notebook and Fever
Bridget
Pitch,
Jones' Diaries.
Aaron Brockovich.
Well, it's not-
The book? Are you asking what it is?
No, back there. What are those movies back there?
Oh, they're a mix. Well, I have Hacksaw on the top, of course, because I have to.
You have a copy of Hacksaw?
Yes, sir.
Where do we obtain a copy of Hacksaw? Because we love the physical media.
Oh yeah, Amazon. You can order it on Amazon for sure, and they'll ship it to you.
And we shall. And we shall.
Yes,
I know
definitely.
Yeah, I know they were out of stock for a while, but I think they got more copies in, so should be good. But yeah, I got Hacksaw. I have Beetlejuice. I'm trying to read. I have a mix between like action and horror.
What's the scariest one over there besides Hacksaw?
Probably all my other movies are over there. My other horror movies, so probably Hacksaw. It's probably the scariest one.
I mean, here's the thing, right? Who has time to watch movies when you're making movies, JC?
I know.
I love it.
You got to make time for the genre. I mean, everybody has to sleep, so okay.
Well, I've really just been watching them more like digital, like on TUBI and stuff. Is really where I've been like catching up with. a lot of the
First off, TUBI has been on point lately. Like,
amazing.
Which is where we can find Amy in Hacksaw.
That's correct. Good call. Good call there.
Yeah.
So let's get into the Hacksaw thing just a little bit here before we go too crazy. So we couldn't get Tony on tonight, so you're speaking for the both of you.
Mhm.
What do you think was obviously the one thing that, so we're in sales, that's kind of what we do as our day gig, I guess, to get to this point. And I think one of the things that I like about sales, and when I go out to hire somebody, it's just like you were saying, you're looking for that blank canvas. That it's pretty awesome that he was able to finesse the situation with you not working on another film before now. So it was really like, hey, I need you to act this way, or hey, I need you to do this. And so, what do you think was the hardest part of transitioning into doing this role? And then what do you think was the best? Like, what stood out to you to be the highlight moment of the whole thing?
Well, okay, so the hardest part, as crazy as this sounds, was because we would have so much fun. We'd be laughing and goofing and, in between the scenes and stuff. So truthfully, going from laughing and being a dork to like, all of a sudden now I have to like play that I'm scared and petrified and screaming and, oh my God, now you're going to get covered in blood. Like, it was such a roller coaster. As crazy as that is, that to me, I think was truthfully the hardest, and just really pulling out that inner, like, you're presenting and you're bringing something to the table for the horror fans. So to me, it was, I guess, maybe that pressure too, just like, I have to make sure that this is on point. I don't want to have it look and my acting be cheesy. And I know it wasn't perfect. It was my first movie, but, just making sure that I am presenting and bringing this and creating this movie, and that we have a good freaking just project for our horror fans, just a little bit of pressure, but Anthony did a great job in helping me, and like, he wasn't mean about it, because he understood, and he was just so patient and helped me a lot and taught me a lot too, which was really cool. And I guess the easiest part, I don't want to say easy, but more of like just so satisfying, was that I was able to be in an independent horror film. Because growing up, side tangent, I never really watched a lot of horror movies because my parents were very conservative. So that was really something that I never really watched until later on in high school, when I was older and could make decisions for myself. That's when I really started getting into the horror movies. And the first time I watched Texas Chainsaw Massacre, I was watching Saw, and I was just like, I want to be in a horror movie so bad someday. So it was really cool to be able to have that dream come true. Not to sound so cliche, but it was. And so that really is what made it easy in a sense to being like, nope, I got this, because this is a dream of mine and I want to make sure that I kick ass, and just bring it. So yeah.
Well, it's funny because, a lot of times, I mean, JC and I, we both have been like super into horror films, at least as long as I've known him, as long as he's known me. And I think it's funny because when we started watching more independent films, and we really are, one of our biggest things were when we started working with Shari, we were like, hey, look, we really want to like take this time where we're in a pandemic and things are going super nuts, and even out this playing field a little bit for our independent filmmakers, and say, look, nobody's jumping to the theater above you. No one's putting their movie out any faster than you, for sure, because these guys are recording movies in 5 days, in 10 days. Like, these guys are setting records on how quick they can get a film out. And so, we really started deep diving into independent films. Like, it was just crazy how much content we had missed. And so it's funny, just as much as we used to nitpick super over budget films, now I almost find myself turning that dial back a little bit. And I'm very like, I obviously think it's crazy that somebody can record a movie in 5 days. It's nuts. But like, I'm not looking at it from the standpoint as much of like, wow, that kill scene could have been better, or this could have been better. I'm like, damn, like, these guys are doing this on little to no budget. They're crushing the storylines. The storylines are so good. And yeah, you're going to have a bad one in there, but you know what? Like, they're working their asses off to get this content out. And I just find myself to not be as much of a nitpicky movie watcher.
You're not as bad as a critic.
Yeah, definitely not. Definitely tone that back a lot, I would say. And I think that's what independent films have done for me. Just an aspect, I'm just not picking them apart as much. I'm just like, wow, this is really hard to get a movie out right now, and these guys are still getting done. So kudos to y'all for that. I enjoyed it quite a bit.
Thank you. Yeah. And thankfully, Hacksaw, got completed and everything before the pandemic. I could only imagine, because Anthony, worked really hard. I could only imagine trying to do all that in the middle of a pandemic, and so, gosh, but yeah, it takes a lot of work. It takes a lot of work to make a movie. It's crazy.
Yep.
You mentioned we don't really kind of like open up a discussion real quick. We don't get political or really anything like that, but you mentioned conservative parents.
Mm-hmm.
His parent, RL's parents. He watched horror growing up. My mother worked part-time at one point at a video rental store. Brought the VCR home that's how old I am. Brought the VCR on home the weekends, and brought horror films at home. And 5, 6, 7 years old, I'm watching Freddy Krueger, Michael Myers, Candyman, what have you. And I look at myself now, and like, here I am, a fully functional member of society, wife, dog, two dogs, own my own home, whatever, the American dream.
Right.
Do you think that I can remember going to youth group one night at church.
Yeah.
Let me tell you. Listen, and this is when I kind of like understood the difference between faith and the difference between somebody having faith in something and everybody doing things just because they should or feel like they should.
Right.
Have you ever heard of the barrel burning?
No.
Okay, you're in Southern California, which is Eagles territory. So a barrel burning is where you get together at the old church house, and you got you burn barrel there, and everybody brings down the stuff that's you know, hindering their life, and they burn it.
Oh gosh. Okay.
Now, two sides to this. Number one, people are throwing in horror movies and, you know, Harry Potter and like all this stuff, right? And then you, on the flip side, you know, here I am, you know, 13, 14 years old, and I'm seeing grown men, people that I know in the church, bringing in bags of porn and tossing it into this dumpster, okay? This burn pile.
Yes, sir. Yes,
So
sir.
it, you know, and it kind of made me feel like, well, one, at least I'm not that bad. And then two, like, don't they know they can do that for free? And then three is three is, what am I going to be like when I'm older? You know, am I going to be like, you know, does it really make somebody bad watching horror flicks, you know?
Right.
So growing up, you're in your first horror flick, you know,
They're about to be burning your posters at the burn barrel, Amy.
Right. Do you
Barrel ready.
I mean, I know people that are super
As
into
long
horror.
as they bought the poster first, it's fine for her. She's like, I don't give a shit. That's okay.
What is your stance on the horror genre?
Oh gosh. Well,
Oh boy.
I
Don't mess this up, Amy. That's all I'm gonna say. Okay?
Amy goes deep.
If I'm just I was in a horror film, so I can't. I'd be like, yeah, those people are nuts. Like that's saying I'm nuts, you know.
I mean,
I think. Okay, how do I word this? Because the horror genre is dark, I guess, in a sense, and it has that element to it that's like makes you uncomfortable. But there just are a certain type of people that we look at that and we're just like, that is awesome. You know, I don't know what it is or why, but and I question myself. I remember in high school watching Saw, and I'm like, why do I love this so much? Like, it's pretty dark and gruesome and gory, but I like it. And I don't know if I don't know. There's just something about it that I just enjoy. But I don't think that makes you, a bad person. I don't think.
I think my biggest thing is like I watch like some movies that are not horror related. Obviously, my wife does not love horror films. She doesn't like anything about it. She does not like it at all. And so, but I've literally watched like dude, I watched Friends with Benefits with her one night, and that movie made me completely uncomfortable. Okay. But it doesn't make it a bad movie, I guess. But I'm like, I'm watching. Well, hell, Shrek makes me think, like, damn, like, how'd they sneak this past me as a kid?
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
RL, what was that? What was that flick that you were gonna watch with your girls that like you like had to turn off? Was it like The Croods 2 or something like that?
Yeah, The Croods 2. Like, so basically, the like 3/4 of the movie is like psychedelic. So they're like, it almost reminds you like they're just high the whole time, the way they talk, the way they are. And like I'm watching it with my kids. My son, he's 6, so he acts like everybody he sees on TV at this point. And so I'm watching it, I'm like, I can't watch this. Like it blew my mind. I watched Midsummer with my 19-year-old. Okay. They threw themselves off of cliffs onto big jagged rocks on purpose. Okay. And in no shape, form, or fashion was this a horror film, but it freaked me out, man. Like, freaked me all the way out. I don't know. Like, it was crazy. So, to me, like, I watch horror films with certain people, and I know that it makes them quite uncomfortable, but I feel like you could take any movie the wrong way. You can, it can go down any path.
Yeah, agreed.
I think all of that is to piggyback on what I'm about to say is, we fully support independent horror and independent filmmakers and people that are coming up in the genre that are trying to make it. Mm-hmm. Would there be a time that we turn someone down based off the type of film that they're in, or maybe some of the certain things that are in it? Yeah, there might be a point where we kind of don't stand alongside certain things that are depicted.
Yeah.
But yet
This is not one of them, though.
this is not one of them.
JC got off on his soapbox here for a second.
I will say the first minute and a half.
He must have been reading a good book today while we were.
No,
he was off work all day, so it's like you never know what's gonna happen.
It just made me think, like, back to that time, and like, here we are, and for anybody who goes and watches this first, the first 5 minutes of this flick, it's probably got some of the best. I mean, obviously it was special effects, scene, as far as I'm actually kind of glad that I actually saw what I saw, rather than letting my mind kind of interpret what I thought was going on, like as in I Spit on Your Grave, or
like Hostel.
Or Hostel.
They shut the damn door every time something's about to happen. Like, Don't get me wrong, the opening scene blew my mind, right? And so, like, I was definitely thinking to myself, like, I don't know how they're going to top this throughout the movie, because the opening scene, folks, will make you shiver quite a bit. But
it definitely sets the pace.
It does, but I thought what was cool about it was they didn't typically, like we were talking about with lower budget films, they typically steer away from those type of effects because of the cost, or the whatever it is that takes that extra amount of time and money to edit. And so, like, Tony doesn't steer away here. This is first 60 seconds, they're hitting you hard, it's going really fast, and it's not Hostile where they shut the door every time somebody gets hurt. It's not I Spit on Your Grave where you're left to think about everything that's going on. This thing is right in your face from the jump, and you know exactly what's happening all the way through the movie, which is what I really liked about it, of course.
I know I was saying the thing before now about the barrel burning and all that. What I was getting at what I was getting at is sometimes the scariest things aren't what's made with special effects, but it's real people. And there's been some flicks that I've seen, like there's the show Waco. There is the movie called The Sacrament, which was an Eli Roth film. I don't know if you've ever seen that, Amy.
I haven't seen that one yet.
Check that one out. It's kind of like a Jim Jones type flick where everybody's living in they're a cult or whatever. There's some real evil in the world, and I'm so glad the horror genre is alive and well, because I can just kind of tune out some of the real evil for some, blood and guts. So that's where we come from.
Yeah, I gotcha.
Amy, are you a documentary watcher?
Yeah, I actually just finished making my own horror documentary, actually. So yes, I love documentaries.
Okay.
You did what
now? Right. Like, she just threw it out there all nonchalant shit. She's like, yeah, man, I just like made my own and shit. Like, just I don't watch documentaries, I make them. Okay, so
watch out, we got a little Federico Fellini over here.
Like, damn, like, okay, sorry. Well, let's so Amy, tell us a little bit about this documentary that we
give us the pitch.
Okay. Well, Anthony and I worked on this one together, actually, as well. So it is called The Case of Dakota Moore. And it's about a girl who has her own, YouTube channel. She's a vlogger. And one of her followers funds for her to take this trip to California. And so, being naive, she's just like, oh, this is amazing, great, whatever. And she comes out to California and gets attacked. That's all I'm going to say. And in the documentary, you have a couple of detectives that are basically unpiecing this story to the audience. And, these detectives have pieced together all of her videos. And what they realize is that there's other cases in the surrounding states that are all linked together. So it's not just her, but there's been other attacks, but they can't find these killers because of, blocked IP addresses, and they're just good at what they do. And we were able to, recreate or create these scenes of these killers. They like recording what they do to their victims. So they have this sick, twisted mind, that they record what they do to, these people. And so, yeah, it's just a whole pieced up documentary. So
That's awesome.
Yeah.
Sounds phenomenal.
It
Yeah,
was-
I'm finding it here. Yeah. Wow. I mean, I was almost like she read the synopsis too as I was like reading it, so it was pretty good. So
Yeah.
it's got the guy. It's got George Jack in it, who was in Hacksaw with you as well, right? He was our reporter, news reporter on there as well.
Max Hart.
Nice. Well, we'll have to get us a copy of that as well, JC. That sounds pretty good.
Yeah,
Yeah.
absolutely. We're definitely physical media collectors. And if anybody from Warner Brothers is watching this or watches this, you guys can go to hell. Seeing as how in 2022 you're not going to be doing physical media anymore.
Oh.
And I'm just wondering if it's part of this. Never mind, I'm not going down it.
Why are you going down the rabbit holes today?
Dude, I'm pissed, man.
How many
Like, it's
Bloody
this
Marys
whole-
have you had?
So I'm on sweet tea, man. I'm hyped. So like, so 2022, you're talking about Warner Brothers. I mean, I guess it's part of cancel culture. I don't know, but
But you
you're
know
talking-
what that is, right? That's
It's where they can-
AT&T, bro.
it's where they can go back and mess with my shows, man. They can go back and like,
They're going to
cut-
make Dawson's Creek only 33-minute episodes instead of 1 hour.
right. And they're gonna like all the times that Bugs Bunny dressed
Amy,
up.
I'm sorry. You caught him on this is a weird day today.
They're gonna take all the Bugs Bunny scenes where he's dressed up as a girl bunny to full Elmer Fudd. They're gonna take that away. Everybody
Why is
needs
this happening to me
everybody
right
needs
now?
to be going out and
Right.
buying everything they can find Warner Brothers DVD.
And take it to the burn barrel.
Take it to the burn barrel.
There you go. Burn barrel. You're out of here.
I think I might.
So
I
Amy,
think
when did you move to California? When did you do that?
The first time was 2015, and then I moved away, and then I came back in 2017.
Gotcha. Where'd you move to? Where'd you leave and go?
Maryland.
Oh,
that's
shit.
far.
That's not next door. It's fucking not.
Yeah.
It's not Colorado.
No,
Or any of those places.
Um,
Jesus
yeah.
Christ.
So my husband now, he's from the East Coast, and so we were here in California together, and we left because all of the rest of the stuff was on the East Coast, and so we moved back there for a little bit to just basically get all of his stuff, and then we came back.
Very rarely, JC, does a person come on our show that goes to the East Coast to pick some shit up and just stays there instead. I mean, I would have to say this is the first.
Yeah.
She was just like, I would probably be like, that stuff is probably just not even important enough to go get.
Well, is the great
Look, dude, California to Maryland, that might as well be on the other side of the globe as far as I'm concerned.
well, I
Like
mean, here's the thing: is
driving.
as the great as
You
the great
drove there?
And back. Yeah. Oh yeah.
Dude, that's fucking dedication right there. I'll give her that.
So-
That's pretty good.
Yeah.
I drove through the great state of Arizona once, and I literally wanted to like just burn my own eyelids off.
'Cause there's
It was
nothing-
that horrible.
there's
You
nothing.
could see for like 6 days ahead of you. Like it's just like
Totally. Yeah.
there's the ocean out there, and you're like, no, that's 3 states from here. You're good. No, it's terrible. It's awful. Did
Yeah.
you guys make it through Nashville? Did you come through Nashville?
Yeah, we've drove through Nashville a few times actually. Yeah, it's beautiful there. Oh my gosh. Love it.
gorgeous, the
It is
Sunshine
gorgeous.
State.
It is not that. It's fucking terrible weather here all the time.
Oh really? I thought it was nice.
It's bipolar.
But then 6 minutes later, it's nice, and then 6 minutes later, it's not. It's terrible.
Fine. Yeah.
I keep a jacket and a pair of shorts in my car every day.
Absolutely. Never know what you're going to.
It's like a box of chocolates.
Right. So, Amy, what's your favorite film? What's on your playlist? Obviously, you like Texas Chainsaw Massacre, Saw. By the way, I posted today. Spiral comes out next month.
God, I can't wait.
So,
Ah,
other than the fact that it's got Chris Rock in it, which is a little. I think, though, what's funny about this is, in my eyes, is that wasn't Donnie Wahlberg in Saw?
yeah.
Now Chris Rock is in Salt. Like, what
Here's the
I
thing.
mean,
Here's the thing. Chris Rock is a detective in this one.
Yeah.
Do you know what other movie he was a detective in?
I was about to say Rush Hour.
No, that was Chris Tucker. No, he was Detective
Oh,
Lee
shit.
Butters in Lethal Weapon 4.
Yep.
Murtaugh's son-in-law. So it's like he's gonna do a great job. He's got, he's done that part.
Yeah.
I'm just gonna be waiting on Adam Sandler to jump out of the closet and scare him or something.
Turns out to be Grown Ups 3.
Right.
Oh,
That's
Jesus. So what's your films? What's a film that maybe we don't know that you know? What's good?
Well, okay, so yeah, Texas Chainsaw Saw, they will always have my heart. Saw 1, 2, 3, the rest of them, but 1 through 3 has got my heart. I could just watch those every day. But I basically, like you guys, have really been trying to get more into the independent films as well, just going on TUBI, Amazon Prime, because I know like Anthony's the same way with this. It's like, if you have I'm answering your question, but another side tangent, but if you have a good independent film where it's not just covered in CGI, just jarg, and you really totally put the effort into it, those are my kind of movies I really like.
You should check out The Box.
The Box.
Yes.
Yeah, I saw that Midnight's been posting about that. Yeah.
Graham Jenkins and Sasha, they nailed this film. It's a complete mind screw type movie. I mean, there's not a ton of, I guess there's some CGI in there, but I mean, it's not.
And it's about it's about a kid who's an actor in obviously California who's going to audition after audition after audition, and he finally lands a part, and it jumps back and forth. It's got the mind thing going on. It's really good. This kid, Sasha, what was his name? Sasha
Sibley.
Yeah, Sasha Sibley was the director. He wrote and directed this flick when he was 20 years old.
Wow.
And we both loved it.
It's unbelievable, but it's just one of those that like sticks with you for a while because it's definitely more about mind over matter and what you can really get, how you can really get in your own head, and it's very deep dive into the human mind. It's pretty awesome.
I like those kind of movies. I like those style too, besides horror, but more the psychological aspect. Oh man.
Did you like Shutter Island?
The Black Box is good as well. If you haven't seen that, it's on it was a Amazon original. It's called The Black Box. Definitely one of those as well.
You said it's on Amazon?
It is. It's an Amazon original. Very like it's basically a guy loses his wife, and this woman offers him a way to go back and relive his past, and he gets in this black box, and then from there it's kind of a mind screw, but it's very, very interesting.
Did you guys,
Very
I'm
good.
like really on a side tangent, and I really have one question, but that just made me think, have you guys seen Anthony's short film Assumption that's on YouTube?
No.
Definitely.
Have not.
It's free on, you just go on YouTube and just put in Assumption, Anthony Leone. It's like a 13-minute film that concept idea that he did with Brian Butler is really cool. Kind of same, like it's got that horror vibe, but then a little bit psychological. Like, what is going on? It's really
I
cool.
just bookmarked it, JC, so we're good.
Nice.
First video he ever did. Yeah, it's
We
cool.
can check that out for sure.
We like the short films too. We've really been kind of getting into some of those. He's always kind of been into it, a lot of YouTube stuff like that, but I've never really been that too into it. But
you can go on the YouTube channel Alter. You ever been on there, Amy?
No, I haven't.
So Alter on YouTube is basically, I mean, you get lost for days, and it's all these really well constructed short horror films. And there's like one of them, I'm pretty sure the flick Lights Out came from a short that was done on there.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, the husband and wife, they made it together, and then it got bought.
Yeah, I mean, so who knows what the next great flick is?
Yeah, we have another one too. You guys should check out. It's called Baby. Have you seen that one?
No.
That one. It should be on YouTube, that one as well. It's got a Freddy Krueger vibe to it about a girl clown that, yeah, it's
Oh, you're
check
talking
Alright.
my language right now. You're talking
Okay.
my language.
like it.
I love
I
the
was
clowns.
I was just watching a little classic 1990 It earlier.
I still have the VHS, Jesse. I need to bust that out so we can watch it. It has like, I was telling him, Amy, when they first came out, it came out on ABC Family. And so obviously, you know what comes out on ABC Family now, freaking Gilmore Girls and all that crap. But this came out. I mean, this thing's got like the SpaghettiO commercials and everything from like that year in it. I've got it all dubbed on a VHS tape. Well, it's 2 tapes because you couldn't record it all in one back then. That tells you how old I am.
You better keep it too, because if you didn't notice right there, you see that?
Warner Brothers.
Burn it.
Exactly. Amy's like, everything but your Hacksaw copies is good to go.
We're gonna have the real It. We're gonna just save that.
Right, exactly. Well, you know, it's crazy too. Like we were watching Hacksaw or whatever. Like it was funny because like there were so many different. I thought that first off, I thought your boyfriend, which I thought he was hilarious myself. You don't get to see a ton of him or anything, so it's not like over the top. But had he been in the rest of this movie, I would have kind of been okay with it because I laughed my ass off. The little shower scene and the snippet of him like, "Are you gonna help me pack?" and all of that. Like, I laughed my ass off.
Yeah.
I thought it was funny. I don't know. That's just me.
Yeah. He was kind of a baby, and I was the bitch fiance. Totally.
It was really funny though.
What about
it played out really well?
What about the reporter though, Max Hart's character? I mean, I thought that was great, and that's what the flip flop back and forth was really what sucked me in. Was I loved the reporting, and then like the guy that he was reporting, like everybody needs to pay special close attention to him.
The guy that looked like he was like homeless, like dude. So Amy, I have a real bad problem with scanning movies first. Like I'm like that guy. So I'll get a movie, or Shari will send us a copy, and I'll go like 5 minutes, and then I'll like pull it a little, and I'll watch like 5 minutes. I swear to God, it doesn't matter how many times I fast forwarded. I ended up on that Max Hart interview every single time. And like I kept drawing myself back to it. That dude was like spitting and like making the weirdest noises. Like it was the most hilarious show I've ever seen. So kudos to that guy. It was funny.
A great scene, courtesy of an independent horror film that, I mean, we're talking about this evening and promoting. Like, we love it.
Craziness.
I'm glad.
Tell us about him, Amy. Tell us about Max Hart. Who Max Hart really is. That's George Jack, right?
Yeah, so George Jack. Sorry, I'll move that. Sorry, I didn't realize it's sunbeam.
You got that Sunshine State beaming right now.
Yeah, so I wasn't there for those scenes, but yeah, so Max Hart, he's just a reporter, basically reporting on the abandoned building where Ed Hacksaw Crowe has supposedly killed hundreds of people. And said person he's interviewing is the brother of one of the victims, and they're getting ready to tear it down, and he's just kind of this goofball wannabe reporter dude that's more concerned about his teeth than anything else.
That shit was so funny. He checked his teeth like 106 times, literally.
Yeah.
He reminds me of the reporter in Devil's Rejects.
Yes, exactly.
Oh yeah,
the news anchor. The news anchor. Exactly. Just the over the top, reporting on this horrific scene and all that stuff. And I think it's cool. Like you have certain little homages to other flicks that are, more big budget or whatever. But what it all centers around is having a great story. And this film had a great story. Yeah, it had the blood and the guts and the gore and the this and the that. But if you don't have a great story, you're not going to capture your viewer. Right. And I was captured from beginning to end. I watched this. I thought it
was cool too. Like, most of the time you see like, well, I mean, obviously every horror film happens in the hills somewhere, right? Like, Johnson City, Tennessee, up in the mountains where nobody ever returns and shit like that. But like the whole like urban esque portion of this, I thought was great because it was like, dude, there's like at least 155 of those condemned buildings in Nashville. I swear to God, like you just drive right down the street, you're like, dude, we could film a movie right freaking there. Like it could have happened here.
Right.
Like, you know, not the other times it's like, you know, you're watching like Hills Have Eyes and Wrong Turn, stuff like that. It's like, you know, where do you find these places? Like I have no idea where they film some of these movies at, but like to see something in more of an urban setting and it's like right there.
Yeah.
I thought was really cool.
Yeah. It was funny when we were scouting location because, you know, he got the script, you know, he's like, okay, now we need to find an abandoned building. And I was like, okay, so we're in, you know, San Diego, we're driving around and couldn't find anything. And I said, okay, this is what we need to do. We need to go on the outskirts. We need to go where there's like more of an industrial vibe. That's where you're going to find one. Just, we got to do it. So we did. And we just saw that. We saw that building. We're all, oh my God, it's perfect. We were so excited. We're like, yeah. So
you go to the owner and you're like, hey, look, we would gladly give you so much per day if we could just beat the shit out of this warehouse.
Yeah.
And he's like, well, we're gonna tear it down anyway, so sure. Like it's crazy. And then I think maybe my favorite scene of the whole movie is where dude like busts out. Like first off, that dude was scary as hell at the end. Okay. Anybody who sees this movie and sees this guy for the first time, the face and all that, I mean, it was definitely scary. The part where he's watching the homemade movie, like on the camera, and he's rocking back and forth, I was terrified. I don't know about you, JC, but it freaked me out.
Oh yeah.
Like it was nuts. Very, very good scene for me.
Yeah, definitely a very good ending. That's.
How long did it take you guys to film?
Let's see. So we started August, September 2017, wrapped in end of 2019. I'm really trying to remember. Yeah, because we had felt like we had finished the big chunk of it, and then Anthony decided, he's like, nope, I want more. We're gonna go back and add a few things here and there. So just little pickup things. Otherwise, it would have been a year, but he wanted to add just a little bit more. So yeah, about a year and a half, which is not terrible. Nice. Considering, you know, trying to get people together and schedules and coordinating everything, you know, but we did good and made it happen. So
you guys made a killer movie.
Is everything. Yeah, for sure.
We're super glad we got to be a part of, you know, checking it out, promoting it, and, you know, being able to sit down and speak with you. Here at the end, what we'd like to do is give you, you know, a few more minutes to jump on your soapbox and maybe not talk about horrific things that happened in your childhood at barrel burnings, but maybe something that maybe some insight you can give to up and coming actresses, actors, people that are trying to make films that are low budget or independent, you know, and all that stuff. You know, what advice can you give them? Go ahead.
Oh gosh.
Be Tony Robbins.
Yeah. So I guess, you know, not to be cliche, but, you know, don't give up. You know, like when I started filming Dakota, you know, there was some bumps in the road and, you know, trying to plan and get everything together and like realizing, okay, I'm filming this on an iPhone 11 Max Pro. Is this going to be good? You know, and you question, but you just need to put your head down and do it and just bust ass and don't give up. I mean, I'm never in my life, 16-year-old me, if I were to go back and say, you're going to be an independent horror film and you're going to talk with great people on podcasts and you're going to do another project with Anthony Leone and then you're going to star next to Scream Queen Felissa Rose, my 16-year-old self would go, crazy lady. Okay. You know, so it's just, don't give up on it. You know, if you have that desire to do something, just do it. You know, don't question it because there's going to be people out there that are going to tell you you're crazy or, you know, oh, okay. But even
here come the haters.
Yeah, don't listen to them. I mean, if you want to do something and you're passionate about it, just effing do it. Do it. Just do it. Don't, it's like, yes, ma'am. Just say yes and go for it. You know, don't say no.
Yes.
question.
It's yes day.
Don't question yourself.
It's yes day.
And it's hard. And I know like there's a lot of interesting people out there in this industry that, you know, might try and steer you the wrong way, or, you know, so also be wise with your decisions, you know, really look at a situation. And but if you want to make a movie, make a movie. If you want to star in a movie, star in a movie, because it is so fun. It is just, it's an incredible experience, and I'm just so grateful to have done that and be here and moving forward, have other things coming out, being a part of other things. I never in my life would imagine that this all would have happened, you know? And so I think it's just so important that we have the confidence in ourselves to just do it if we want to do it. Don't worry what people say, you know?
Right on.
Yeah. It's definitely for us. It's definitely been an eye-opening experience being able to talk to folks like yourself. And you know, one of our big things is like we've been working on Brown Mint Horror for 10 years. We've been trying to start something, and you know, finally one day we're just talking about it. We're like, okay, look, we either have to be all in or all out. Like we can't continue to tiptoe around what we think we want to do or what we might do, or and, you know, as we're speaking about that, we're literally getting a phone call from Shari, and she's like, hey, I think I have a cool idea. You guys should set this up, and we will just run with it. And I'll, you know, be able to put these people in front of you to help you kind of grow that brand. And so, like, it's nice now that our circle is kind of starting to grow. We're seeing, you know, definitely some growth in that area, and being able to talk to folks like yourself. And it's just really awesome once you start driving towards what you really want to do. And that's what we've been talking about this whole time with Behind the Horror. It's just, folks, if you're looking to make a movie, if you're looking to, it's not going to be easy. It's definitely not going to be, you know, all sunshines and rainbows, but every single time we talk to somebody on this show, literally they say the same exact thing. It's like, forget about what everybody else is telling you, do your thing. And the end result is getting that physical copy in your hand. And there's no better feeling than that.
Right.
So
it can be very intimidating, obviously. I mean, you're putting yourself in a vulnerable spot to be just ripped apart by critics. But then the positive side of it, you know, that I'm taking away from all this is we do have folks like yourself that are just so supportive. You know, you're not sitting down to watch Hacksaw expecting a $300 million budget film. You know, you respect the energy and the time that it takes to make these movies, and people like that, like yourselves, is just, that's what should be the inspiration to keep going, you know, because yeah, you can't please everybody. Not everyone's gonna like it, and that's okay.
You got that right.
You know, but you have the people that are just like, no, you're doing good, keep it up, you know. And that's,
well, you don't see critics at the end of the day standing in line at casting calls. You don't see critics at the end of the day sitting behind a camera for 14-hour shoots and things like that. Like, you just don't see it. And so
it's so easy to point fingers and critique and, you know, be so much wiser on film, on the whole filmmaking process when you're a YouTube, you know, film critic or something like that. And I want to ask those guys, like, have you ever acted before? Have you ever even went to a shoot? You ever helped make a movie before? No.
Right.
Get the fuck out of here.
Yep.
Exactly. Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Crazy.
Well, cool, JC.
Well, on that
another
note,
one in the bag.
It's another one. Episode 7. I think it's in the bag. What do you think, Miss Amy?
Thank you guys so much. This is
all
awesome.
right.
Thank you, dear.
Thank you. We look forward to the next film, and maybe we can get you and Felissa, and maybe who's gonna be the director on that film?
That's Anthony.
It's Anthony. Maybe we can get all three of you guys together for the next go around.
That'd be awesome.
We got old school, new school, and Anthony bringing everybody together. I think it'd be a great show. What do you think, RL?
It's gonna be good. Sounds real good to me.
Awesome. Well, thank you so much. This is episode 7 of Brown Mint Horror's Behind the Horror. We'll see you next time.
All right.
Thanks.
Thanks, guys.